So I consider myself a bridge between end users and business with technology service providers, whether they are internal developers, technical teams. I consider myself that bridge because one, I'm technical enough, but two, I think I also understand enough of business to be able to drive that discussion. So I solve business problems with technology. They are competing on the global stage. However, I think the numbers are still small. I think they're still a small proportion and their impact is not yet felt. So I think the idea is to increase the impact and also increase the support systems and groupthink around it, basically to grow the numbers. I think they're still small compared to many countries and many other areas. The companies are here. They're not here for us. They're here for their own, they're here for their own benefits. Like if you look at the tech talent crash in Kenya, like Microsoft is there, Google is now there, you'll soon see Amazon. So I think it's an interesting possibility, really. The possibilities are great. I'd love to see more government push, because government is the one that can invest in initiatives that, it's like, I won't call it bottom of the pyramid, but the entry, I think it's still sporadic and not consistent. So while we have people who fly high, we still don't have a consistent push. If you compare with countries like Estonia, I look at those which were in the Eastern Europe blocks, what people are doing in Schengen, they're setting up future generations. It's not just the current ones, future generations. So I think we still need a sustained investment other than foreign-backed companies to actually drive that. In science education, I'll tell you, I'm a big, like I have kids in school. You can't study from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like there's no play, there's no science, there is no, well, innovation is a loaded term, but innovation is a very small component. There's just a good old, boring, old-fashioned business of technology services. That's actually a big proportion. If you remove the unicorns, Apple, Facebook, etc., the rest is just a group of technology players. Yeah, so I think that's what we need to look to grow. Because an ecosystem, it's not, having one or two big players is not enough, because then it's still a monopoly. They still dictate all the terms. Having a more level playing field and more people who can compete, that's the key. Kenya is doing much better. That's why they're able to attract the likes of Google and Microsoft to actually set up development centers. It can only go from there. They have sucked the wind out of it, but in 3 to 5 years, you will see people leaving Microsoft because they want a better life. Or they can't fit in, they're not a Microsoft fit or a Google fit. So overall, it can only be better for the economy. Yeah. But we need more of those. We can't wait for Google or Microsoft. We need more homegrown, boring. I like boring tech. Boring tech is where greatness is made, because that's the foundation of the innovations we're talking about. They're built on top of boring tech, boring, solid foundations. I believe it's like the oil curse. Our best people will go, and everybody else will be left wanting. That's, unfortunately, it's doom and gloom, because you can see the very best people are taken up, but then they leave a large vacuum in there. So it's like mineral extraction, etc. If there is no government drive, and I still go to government because they don't even have to put in money. As long as the policies and environment are enabling, it balances out. So the environment and ecosystem are not yet good to provide mass development of talent, mass growth of talent. Yeah. If you go into sports, if you go into Norway, I think, which has the largest number of sports Olympians and things like that, they don't have competitions till you're 13. You're not yet grown enough. So it's the same thing. We've got to grow them young. We've got to inspire them. You know what, like my colleague Solomon King is doing at Fundi Bots and other things. It's like basic science. Like let people be excited about a wind gauge or an anemometer, or like basic, the fundamentals. I talk a lot about the fundamentals, science, English, maths, like general excitement about learning. That's the key. That's the key foundation that we need to grow and invest in. Then the rest will just sort itself out because there's demand. So as long as you keep building from the ground up, or like the long tail of Google, that's what we need. We need that long tail to be successful. We are unique. So the same way I talked about open source as an ethos, you don't hire the developer for only the code they write. You hire them for how they write it, what they pour into. It's easy to see a project that was done from another country because elements of that country's culture, thinking, and mindset sweep into it. Like it's the African developers were a diverse set. Our cultures and etc. seep into the software we write. They're different. Like for us, we're doing, like I keep saying, we do offline first, mobile second. We may never have web because data is expensive. We have low-end smartphones, but that means we do frugal innovation. We still use USSD. Like my banking app, I have USSD, the app and the web, but I keep flipping between the easiest to use. Like for us, USSD is normal. Like SMS, I was telling people I buy SMS. SMS messaging is still here, and we still use it as a primary messaging format. So I believe it's different because solving for the continent is different from solving from America. Like cards are many in America. Yeah, you have to use mobile money or other payment, Cards are not it. So it's different because the technology stacks, like everybody's doing React, etc. For us, we've got to do server-side rendered content because it's expensive to send those large pages. Like some of the pages are 10 meg. You can't have a landing page that's 10 meg. It has to be lighter and smaller. That's why we're going smartphone apps, whereby you just have back-end chatter. But even then, they don't have to be too chatty because the connectivity may not be there. So we work with offline fast. A lot of the architectures I've worked with where you work offline, synchronize once. Work offline, synchronize once. It's that kind of architecture, which in America says, yeah, but synchronize all the time because I have data all the time and it's cheap. You have to continuously improve. It's a craft. So I look at it as a craft, like a carpenter. You have to sharpen your tools. You have to learn how to build a table. You have to learn how to build chairs. And they say quality is not what you see. So somebody mentioned like the high quality wardrobes. If you open the wardrobe and look behind the drawer, that's where quality is. If somebody is paying attention to that back, which is never seen, means the front will be beautiful. So it's a pay attention to quality, learn from the best, and just strive to be better. Not with your countrymen, but globally, because it's a global economy. And it's hard because our mindsets, we see mediocrity everywhere. So it's a tough fight against your native instinct, which is lazy human, to trying to be better than you were yesterday. It's a battle. Yes. So the events are great, but I think they're just one piece. So this event, everybody is left hungry, but come Friday next week, they'll have forgotten. So it's not about the single event. It's about a cascade. Sorry, I'm in medical. It's a cascade of activities, of things that reinforce. So we've planted seeds today. But the question is, if these seeds go unwatered and unlooked after for a month, they will shrivel and die. So the key thing is not just one event. It's this. Are we doing hackathons? Are we doing meetups? Are we doing general knowledge sharing? Do we have companies that are posting problems to which they are willing to hire people? Like, it's not a single dose. It's not like, it's like a healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle is not just, it doesn't mean not eating ice cream or chips. It just means controlling when you eat them. But being healthy, you eat You don't eat them after 7, but you continuously have nutrition. It's like watering a seed. This is a seed. Alone, 2 months may not have no impact. The question is, what's the follow-up event? That is different, but helps. Like we've planted the seed, how do we water it, fertilize it? As it grows, how do we prune it, ensure it has no insects? How do we let it grow? So it's not one event, it's a cascade of events that feed upon each other, that supports, and actually that's what I call the support system, that supports this developer. Even when they get a job, they want to come back and talk about the experience. So it's not like one event. It's not just today. It's what happens after. And it doesn't have to be Tunga or Innovation Village, but what's the cascade? What's the ecosystem of events and meetups that people are attending and participating in for their particular problems? Like for me, if you ask me which meetup would you like, I'd like one in analytics, data science, R, maybe PHP, maybe technical writing, because you're holistic. So it's not just one aspect, but there are multiple. Yeah. So I think it's not once, multiple different timed events that help grow the seed that we've planted. For a young developer, software development is a skill. It's a craft. It's one that has to be honed. It's one that has to be refined. You have to keep looking after it and looking for continuous improvement. It's not about the language, it's about providing value to customers. So essentially, whatever you have, just work at being and improving it continuously over time.